A $5,000 credit card balance can quietly turn into almost $12,000 paid, not because you missed every bill, and not because of a hidden late fee, but because $100 a month barely outruns interest at today's typical rate. The frightening part is that the statement can still call you current. In the next 10 minutes, you will see exactly where the money goes, which rules keep the loop alive, and the fastest honest ways to break it. This is not a fringe problem. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York says American credit card balances reached $1.263 trillion in the second quarter of 2026. That was $21 billion more than the previous quarter and $54 billion more than a year earlier. The number is huge, but the trap works one statement at a time, inside a box most people read for only a few seconds. The same report shows that the flow into serious credit card delinquency was 6.97%. That does not mean every borrower is collapsing. It means the system contains two very different realities. Millions of people use cards and pay in full, while others are paying for yesterday with tomorrow's income. To understand why the second group can feel stuck, even while making payments, ignore the national total for a moment and follow one imaginary $5,000 balance. The Federal Reserve's latest available reading puts the average commercial bank rate across all credit card accounts at 20.94%. Your card may be lower, much higher, promotional, fixed, or variable. So this is not a quote for every borrower. We use it because it is official, current, and perfect for exposing the math. At that rate, $5,000 generates about $87 of interest in the first month alone. And the meter usually runs daily. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says many issuers calculate interest from an average daily balance using a daily periodic rate. Divide 20.94% by 365, and the debt costs roughly $2.87 per day at the beginning. That sounds small, but this is the first psychological trick. Daily numbers feel harmless, while years of daily numbers can become larger than the original purchase. Now send a $100 payment. About $87 goes to interest in month one. Only about $13 attacks the balance. You paid real money, yet the debt barely moved. The next month is slightly better because the balance is slightly smaller, but progress remains slow. This is why checking only whether the payment went through can create a false sense of motion. The number that matters is not payment made. It is principal destroyed. Keep paying $100 every month, add no fees, make no new purchases, and assume monthly compounding. The balance lasts about 120 months, 10 years. Total interest is about $6,906. Double the fixed payment to $200, and the same balance disappears in roughly 34 months with about $1,626 of interest. That extra $100 does not merely have the timeline. It crushes years of future interest. Here is the most expensive word on many statements: minimum. Minimum sounds responsible. Minimum keeps the account from immediately becoming late. But minimum is a compliance number, not a speed goal. Formulas vary by issuer, and some minimums fall as the balance falls. That can stretch repayment dramatically because the payment shrinks just when you need momentum. The system is not promising that the debt will leave your life quickly. It is telling you the least you must send right now. There is a warning box worth more than most reward points. Federal rules require card issuers to estimate how long your current balance would take to repay if you made only minimum payments and added nothing new. They must also show the monthly amount that would pay the current balance in 36 months. That second number may look painful, but it reveals the price of speed. Before using any online calculator, your own statement may already contain a personalized comparison. But there is a sentence people miss. The payoff estimate assumes no future purchases. Buy groceries, cover a repair, or add a subscription and the finish line moves. A payment can be mathematically real while your behavior replaces every dollar of progress. Imagine carrying water from a leaking boat while another hand keeps drilling tiny holes. This is why a debt plan that focuses only on payment size without stopping new charges can feel disciplined and still fail. The loop often looks like this. Income arrives, a large share goes to the card. Cash becomes tight. The card is used again for ordinary expenses. The balance returns, and the next statement charges interest on a new average daily balance. From the outside, the borrower is paying constantly. From the inside, the same credit limit is being rented again and again. The first real victory is not a zero balance. It is one full month in which the balance stops growing. A credit card can be an efficient payment tool when a grace period applies, and the statement balance is paid in full by the due date. In that situation, purchases may avoid interest, but once you carry a balance, you can lose that protection. The CFPB warns that new purchases may begin accruing interest from the date each purchase is made. That changes the card from a delayed payment tool into a daily rental agreement for money. That detail creates a nasty surprise. Someone may think, I paid this month's restaurant charge next month, so it was basically free. But if the grace period was already gone, interest may have started on the day of purchase. Policies differ, so the answer lies in the card agreement and statement. The larger lesson is simple. Carrying a balance changes the economics of every new swipe, even when that new purchase looks small. Interest is only the visible cost. A large balance can also raise credit utilization, the share of available revolving credit currently in use. Scoring models consider how close a borrower appears to being maxed out. That can influence the terms offered on future borrowing. No single utilization number guarantees a score change, and models differ. But the direction is clear. Lower balances relative to limits generally look safer than cards pressed against their ceiling. This kills a stubborn myth. You do not need to carry a balance or pay interest to build a credit history. The CFPB says paying balances in full can help keep costs low and support strong scores. What matters is responsible use and on-time payment, not donating interest to the issuer. If a tiny balance appears on a report before you pay it, that is different from intentionally revolving debt month after month. Interest is a borrowing cost, not a membership fee for good credit. You often hear 30% as a utilization target. The CFPB reports expert guidance to stay at or below that level, but 30 is not a magic cliff. 29% does not guarantee a great score, and 31 does not destroy one. Payment history, account age, inquiries, and other information also matter. Use the number as a warning gauge, not a game. If high-interest debt is costing money every day, the strongest long-term target is not 30%. It is controlled spending and a balance you can clear. Now for the promotion that can reverse time. Some store cards offer no interest if paid in full within a set period. That may be deferred interest, not the same as a simple 0% annual percentage rate. If the promotional balance is not fully cleared by the deadline, the issuer may charge the interest that had been accumulating since the original purchase. 11 good months can be defeated by a small balance left in month 12. The minimum payment is especially dangerous here because it probably will not erase the promotional purchase before the offer expires. The promotion's end date may also differ from the ordinary monthly due date. The safer calculation is mechanical. Promotional balance divided by months remaining, then build in a margin and finish early. Check how extra payments are allocated when the card contains balances at different rates. The details are boring for 5 minutes and expensive for years if ignored. Credit changes the unit your brain sees. A $1,200 phone becomes $38 a month. A vacation becomes points plus a minimum. The monthly number feels manageable because it hides duration and total cost. The cure is to translate every financed purchase back into 3 numbers: cash price, total amount paid, and the date the last payment leaves. If a seller shows only the monthly payment, your job is to rebuild the missing picture. 1 small payment may fit. 5 small payments can consume the margin that protects a household from emergencies. Then the next repair goes on credit, creating a 6th payment. This is how debt becomes self-reinforcing without any single spectacular mistake. The problem is not simply that interest is high. It is that fixed obligations reduce flexibility. A strong payoff plan therefore aims to free 1 entire monthly payment, then redirect that money before lifestyle expands to absorb it. Before choosing a strategy, build a 1-page debt map. For every card, write the current balance, annual percentage rate, minimum payment, due date, promotional expiration, and whether the account is still inside a grace period. Add the total minimums. This removes the fog. A balance that feels emotionally huge may not be the mathematically most expensive. A smaller card with a brutal rate or expiring promotion may be the fire that needs attention first. Next, separate repayment from new spending. Remove the card from shopping apps, pause non-essential subscriptions, and use a method that makes the remaining weekly spending visible. Do not cut essentials blindly, and do not empty a needed emergency cushion just to create a dramatic screenshot. The goal is sustainable negative debt flow. The balance ends each month lower than it began. A plan that works for 14 days and then forces fresh borrowing is not aggressive. It is unstable. If cash flow is predictable and the bank balance is monitored, automatic minimum payments can protect against accidental lateness. Then make the extra payoff amount a separate, deliberate transfer. Why separate them? Because the minimum preserves the floor. The extra creates speed. Verify the issuer's settings and keep enough cash in the payment account, because a failed automatic payment solves nothing. The habit should remove memory risk without creating overdraft risk. The mathematically efficient method is the debt avalanche. Pay every required minimum, then send all extra money to the highest interest rate. When that card is gone, roll its entire payment into the next highest rate. The CFPB notes that this approach targets the costliest debt and can save money over time. Its weakness is emotional. If the highest rate balance is large, visible progress may feel slow before the first account reaches zero. The debt snowball chooses the smallest balance first, regardless of rate. It may cost more interest, but it produces a faster psychological win and frees a payment sooner. That momentum can matter if motivation is the real bottleneck. The best spreadsheet strategy is useless when abandoned. Choose consciously. Avalanche for lower expected interest cost, snowball for earlier visible victories. Whichever method you select, keep minimums current on every other account and roll freed payments forward. Here is a simple accelerator that requires no prediction. When the required minimum falls, keep your total payment fixed if your budget safely allows it. On our $5,000 illustration, $100 a month crawled for about 10 years. $200 finished in roughly 34 months. You do not need to double every payment overnight. Even a stable extra amount matters, because each dollar of principal removed today prevents future interest from being calculated on that dollar. A windfall is most powerful before lifestyle claims it. A tax refund, bonus, sold item, or temporary extra shift can remove principal in one strike. But keep the plan realistic. If using every dollar leaves no buffer for rent, food, transport, or a medical need, the next surprise may return to the card. Think in months purchased. How many future payments and how much future interest does this lump sum erase while leaving the household stable? If even the minimum is becoming impossible, silence is expensive. The CFPB advises contacting the card company and clearly explaining why you cannot pay the minimum, what amount you can afford, and when normal payments might restart. Assistance is not guaranteed and terms vary, but an early conversation may reveal hardship options. Be cautious with anyone promising to erase debt for pennies or demanding large upfront fees. A real plan should survive written details, not just a sales call. After payoff, closing the card may feel like the clean ending. Sometimes it is the right behavioral choice, especially if the account has fees or tempts new debt. But the CFPB notes that closing an account can reduce available credit and raise utilization, which may affect a score. There is no universal answer. Compare the annual fee, fraud monitoring burden, account age, spending risk, and credit profile. Freedom is not the same as keeping every account open forever. The finish line is not simply a zero on a screen. It is a new system. Essential expenses fit inside reliable income. A small cash buffer absorbs normal surprises. Card statements are reviewed, not feared. The full statement balance is automated only when the bank balance can support it. Rewards are treated as a minor rebate, never permission to spend more. The goal is to make credit compete for your business instead of making your future income work for old purchases. So remember the sequence. Map every balance, rate, minimum, and deadline. Stop adding new revolving charges. Protect every required payment and your essential cash buffer. Then attack one target with a fixed extra amount using either avalanche or snowball. Read the warning box on the statement, guard the grace period, and treat deferred interest deadlines like real debt deadlines. None of this is instant, but every step is measurable, honest, and under your control. The biggest lesson is this: making payments and destroying principal are not the same thing. One keeps the account alive, the other gives your future income back. Open your latest statement and find three numbers: annual percentage rate, estimated minimum payment payoff time, and the 36-month payment. Which number surprised you most? Share the answer without posting private account information, and subscribe for the next visual money breakdown.